Okay, good evening and welcome to the Downers Grove Township meeting of the Township Board of Trustees for September 16, 2021. Calling the meeting to order. Let's all rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lorraine, roll.
Trustee Stoll? Here. Trustee Ferguson? Present. Trustee Okram?
Present.
Trustee Ricciardotti?
Present.
Supervisor Colter?
Present. And we have a quorum. Our first item on the agenda is the public comment. Just as a reminder, residents will have an opportunity to speak during the public comment. Comments are directed to the supervisor. We ask that comments be kept to 2 minutes and address Downers Grove Township issues. Any questions or comments can also be emailed to supervisor@dgtownship.com, who will read them into the public comments. Please refrain from profanity and personal attacks directed at people. Please be respectful of all residents. We remind you that the public comments are not a Q&A session. Thank you very much. And I did not receive anything in my email today. So we will start off. We have 2 people who have signed up. Carol, if you want to go first. And if you could come up so we can have you close enough to with these masks, it's hard to hear.
And that's basically what I wanted to comment on. I've been coming to township meetings, I think it's 16 years now, and I've missed only a handful. I had to miss last month, as you can see, I have a boot on my foot, so I had a little work done. And so I listened or watched the video, and frankly, I could hear very little of what was said at the meeting. And I think part of the point of taking the video is to have a record of what is said. So I'd like to encourage you all to use your loud voices, especially with these masks on, so that people can, if need be, go back to those videos and see what occurred. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. And our second,
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
sure. Yeah.
I just wanted to point out that we do have written notes from every meeting that are also part of the official public record for your review. Did you have a chance to review those?
Are those, I'm not aware of notes for the meeting, I'm aware of minutes.
Minutes, I apologize.
They are not available to the public until after they are approved at the following meeting.
Understood.
Okay?
Okay, our second speaker is Bonnie Wayman-Dodd.
Hi. I was thinking a lot about the pandemic increasing with the Delta variants and the amount of kids and families that are quarantining and the senior citizens that are getting hit. And I would like to request if we could go back to Zoom meetings, or at least consider going back to Zoom meetings, so the folks that are quarantining can still be part of the meetings and have their comments heard.
Thank you. Okay, and with that, can I have on our next item, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the public hearing for the amended budget and appropriations ordinance for fiscal year 21-22 from August 19th, 2021 as presented? Do I have a motion?
Yes.
And a second?
I second the motion.
Any questions or comments? Lorraine, will you take call roll?
Trustee Okram?
Aye.
Trustee Ricciardotti?
Aye.
Trustee Ferguson?
Aye.
Trustee Stoll?
Aye.
Supervisor Colter?
Aye. The motion to approve the minutes passes. Next up is the motion to approve the minutes of the board meeting from August 19th, 2021 as presented. Do I hear a motion? So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Lorraine, will you take roll?
Trustee Okram?
Aye.
Trustee Ricciardotti?
Aye.
Trustee Stoll?
Aye.
Trustee Ferguson?
Aye.
Supervisor Colter?
Aye. Motion passes. Next one is a motion to approve the amended resolution 2020-1112-2. No, I'm
You skipped
skipping one.
payment
I'm
of
skipping
bills.
one, I'm sorry. Next up is the motion to approve the trustee audit and the approval of the bills and claims as presented. Do I hear a motion?
Moved.
Second. Any discussion? Lorraine, would you take the roll?
Trustee Okram,
Aye.
trustee Ricordati,
Aye.
trustee Stoll. Aye. Trustee Ferguson,
Aye.
supervisor Polter.
Aye, it passes. Okay, now, up to the motion to approve the amended resolution 2020-1112-2, Downers Grove Township 2021 Board of Trustees meeting schedule. This is amending the schedule to change the meeting times from 7:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. beginning with the October 21st, 2021 meeting. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Lorraine, would you take roll?
Trustee Okram,
Aye.
trustee Ricordati,
Aye.
trustee Stoll. Aye. Trustee Ferguson,
Aye.
supervisor Polter.
Aye, amendment passes. So starting next month, our meetings will be at 7 p.m. Next up, we have the annual financial report ending February 28th, 21. Presented by Scott Dusner of WIP FLI LLC, who is our auditor. For those in the audience, this is on our website. The full audit is on our website. Scott?
Thank you for having me. I hope, as Paul mentioned, my name is Scott Denzer. I'm a partner at Whipley LLP. Formerly, I worked for Klein Hall for 15 years, but we merged in with a national firm a couple years ago. I hope everybody had a chance to take a look at the audit report, and if you have any questions, please stop me at any time and interrupt me and ask me. I know sometimes I lose my train of thought and forget them by the time the Q&A session comes around. So I see we have some new faces here. So just want to state that the township does put together the financial statements following all the governmental accounting standards, and these are prepared under generally accepted accounting principles. So all applicable standards to the township are reported in these financial statements and reported on a modified accrual basis. For the year ended February 2021, we provided a unmodified opinion that would be otherwise known as a clean opinion, which basically states that we think these financial statements report the information accurately and in all material respects. If there's one part of the report that people should focus on, I think it's the management discussion and analysis. This starts on page 3 of the audited financial statements. It's just a narrative. Narrative reports talks a little bit about the general background of the township. It talks about the different financial statements inside the report. It gives summarized financial information and some reasons why balances went up, down, changed, and a little financial analysis to give the readers of the financial statements a better understanding of what happened for the year ended February 28, 2021. The first two financial statements in here is a statement of net position, statement of activities. This is a balance sheet of an income statement on a government-wide level on pages 11 and 12. These report all your capital assets in this financial statements, including infrastructure assets, which are roads, right-of-ways, bridges, that kind of stuff, and any potential debt. Net position of the total net position, this includes all assets, actually increased about $1 million for the year ended at about 25.6 million, just under 25.6 million. The next set of financial statements, and I just want to make the difference here, are the governmental fund financial statements. These are the statements, and we start on page 13. 13 is the balance sheet, and a few pages later you have the income statement on 16 and 17. These report the governmental funds, and these are what more people look at and analyze a little bit, because these report your major funds, the town fund, general assistance funds, road funds, etc. And it breaks it down in those different funds, because that's the way how you levy property taxes, that's the way you budget, so that's what management uses monthly to track the performance of the district. So as of the year end, February 28th, you had about, in total assets across all the funds, about $9.62 million in assets. That includes cash, a lot of property tax receivable, or on the accrual basis, and fund balance came in about $4.2 million a year end. So that's basically your equity. The results of operations on the income statements on page 16 and 17. Overall, the township showed a loss, a net loss for the last fiscal year of about 1.9 million or so. But that was expected and budgeted, and most of that is related to the construction costs of this new building. Okay, so fund balances went from $6.1 million to about 4.3 million. But I believe that was expected. I believe the township still is in a very, very strong financial position. I also want to, the notes of the financial statements just gives detail on policies, procedures, some more detailed data, capital assets. One thing I want to point out to you, we do report, employees of the township do participate in the pension plan, the Illinois Municipal Right Retirement Fund. We have a couple schedules in here that show the that we get from IMRF's actuarial valuation that show the results of the funding of the plan, page 32 and 33. For the year ended 2020, December 31, because that's when the actuarials are performed, the township has actually a net pension asset to IMRF. That means there's more assets in there than the liability, so it's very funded appropriately, 100%. So that should lower your rate that you pay in future years. And in the back of the report is this detailed information by fund, budget, and actual detail for the line items. Information starting on page 38 backwards. Anybody have any questions on the financial report or results of operations?
I have a question. You noticed the loss of the income was lower by $1 million something. The fund balance was lower.
Correct. On the fund, yeah.
But you don't appraise the construction of sites to assess where that money went. You don't have a number for this building, do you?
A total number
Yeah.
of cost,
No, about value.
of value. I believe, and this is what's different between the two types of funds. I think where we're going here on that, in the fund financial statements, all the costs for this building would be budgeted and expense. When I mentioned on those government-wide statements, that's where the asset in the building actually show up.
It's like GASB numbers, aren't they?
Yes, that was introduced 15 years ago when GASB 34 was implemented and changed the whole reporting model and introduce the government-wide financial statement. So, you know, the cost of this building is reflected in the capital assets and the infrastructure assets and the government-wide in the statement of net position, not on the balance sheet of the governmental funds.
Okay, so you find this, we would find that at a different location.
Yeah, and there should be, yeah. Give me a second here, please. As you can see on page 23, there's a footnote in the financial statement related to capital assets, and we can see in the portion there's a construction in progress number. There's an addition for last year, and it's a construction in progress because the building was not complete and put into service as of February 28th. So this next year, it'll go down into the building category, and depreciation will start on it.
So we know that is true, and we can tie that together with the loss in the
Correct.
fund.
Yes, that addition of about 2.3 million is really where the loss.
Okay.
You know, that's where it is.
Thank you very much.
In addition to the audited financial statements, we also, all the board members should have got there's some required communication letters that were required to submit for those charged with governance, which are you guys. So they're pretty, it's a pretty standard letter. I think it's self-explanatory when you read it. And in addition to submitting, preparing these financial statements, having the township prepare these financial statements, there's also a regulatory requirement that we fulfilled with the Illinois Comptroller's Office. That's the regulatory body. They require that we upload some financial information to them, some pension information, and in a standard format that all townships and really all local governments have to file with them. So we have done that and submitted. So all your regulatory requirements, as far as I'm responsible for, have been fulfilled for last year.
Any anomalies in the notes on the management?
Say that again?
Any anomalies in the notes on the on the management letter?
I do not believe so. One thing that we do always stress, and that we always like to point out in the management letter in an organization like this is, the basis of internal controls is segregation of duties. An organization this size does not have the staff, and they're not going to hire the staff to have proper segregation of duties. That would mean one person does one step, another person does another step, and the idea is that if there's an error or a mistake, somebody will catch it down the line before it shows up in the financial statements. With a limited amount of staff, you can't have one person dumping a mail, one person checks one person. So it's really a focus of, the control should be focused on review of the output. Looking at the financial statements, having somebody, you can get treasurer's reports every month, but really somebody, should once in a while be looking at the actual bank statements, to see if the cash was there. Reviewing the payroll reports occasionally, to see if there's any anomalies in there, if it went way up or way down or why. There's not that many employees, so you should be able to, see if it's reasonable. It doesn't have to be a detailed review, but it should be, a review of the output, because there's really not the proper segregation of duty internal controls because of the amount of staff, and it's not fiscal. It's too expensive to hire other staff to get proper segregation of duties.
But that's been going on for years.
Yeah, that's it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon because of just because of the size of the organization. some governments are very large, and there's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of stuff, so they have, they might have 3 people that work in AP, 2 payroll persons, and human resource, and and control, so then they can have those different responsibilities for each person, and split up the work and have better segregation of duties and controls. But in an organization this size, it's just not feasible. That's why he said it's sort of a focus on the output and just tying it back to, the biggest thing, it's the biggest thing that can happen to you. Eventually your loss is the cash. That's the risky asset there. So, we should be looking at the bank statements to make sure the banks are reconciled, and it's actually cash is in the bank still. Does that make sense? So, it's just,
No, I was just going to say there are a few pieces of that information that we see regularly, but we aren't seeing things. There are a few pieces of information that you just mentioned that we are seeing, like the payroll statements and so forth, but we aren't seeing the bank statements monthly and that type of thing. So I think that's a good recommendation that occasionally that information is printed. So.
yeah, and it might not be the trustee's responsibility to do that, but maybe somebody else in the office.
Right.
Like,
Making sure that it's done.
Right, just so somebody else can just, sort of sign off on it and give me, because, that gives me control to rely on when I'm doing the audit. But if it's not documented, it hasn't happened in my mind.
Right.
All right, thank you, Scott. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Yeah, and please, if anybody has any questions after the meeting, feel free to reach out to me. If Paul can provide my contact information if you have some other questions or you want some more explanation.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the supervisor's report. I just had a couple things to go over. We did have I believe it was the 5th in the series of the Senior Survival Series here today. It was at lunchtime. We had 35 people that attended. Topics were Medicare, financial planning, and Social Security. From what I understand, it was a very, very good and well-attended event. We have signed up with People's Resource Center. We're going to be doing computer training here in this room for seniors. They will go through People's Resource Center to sign up, and then we will be hosting it starting in October. And then speaking of October, the Friends of Downers Grove Township Seniors is having their 3rd annual fundraiser. It'll be here on October the 28th from 5:30 to 7:30. With that, next up is the assessor's report. Greg?
Yes. Just want to let the residents know that, hopefully my voice is loud enough here, and that we closed our books and were published in the newspapers by the county through a series of articles right around the starting the 2nd of September. So the 30-day period is going to be over on October 4th. So we're encouraging anybody that has questions to reach out to our website. We've done some updating of our website to make it easier for residents to be able to select comps and things like that. So things are working real smooth, and we're seeing a lot of the residents putting through people that have inquiries come through and do the comps and select them. So it's working very, very smooth, and we're handling the traffic and things are going fine. And so we're anticipating to finish off the remaining number of days in the 30 days with good service for the residents. So it's really that's the main focus right now. And then they'll go through the reviewing whatever we get out at the county level. So things going well.
Okay. Any questions?
How's your team doing? You guys need anything? Going good?
We're going well. I mean, right now everybody's working as a team and it's going well. Everybody's smiling and getting it done.
And I walked by today, everyone was smiling actually.
That's what Lorraine always says. She says, everybody's smiling. Well, they're a great team.
Yeah.
And they work like that. I'm very proud to be part of it.
All right, and Andy Anderson is not here tonight, but he did give me his report. In the last month, the highway department has been working on the following projects. We started our fall brush pickup. We finished section 1 and are currently working in section 2. We worked with Gradall operator for a week cleaning out ditches, installing several driveway culverts associated with ditching, installed several French drains, and repaired a storm sewer in the southwest area of the township. Next, the brush crew worked on several cutbacks ahead of our paving program. They also removed a few trees that were dead. We also hauled out dirt spoils to the landfill. K5 is finishing up our paving project on Clarendon Hills Road. This is our project that we got the federal grant for, and we are sharing with the feds. We are paying for 1/3 of the project while they are picking up the other 2/3. Paving should wrap up today, and the thermoplastic striping should be done by the end of the week. Our concrete contractor is in the process of repairing and replacing the driveways, curbs, and sidewalks on our list for this year. Work should be done soon, and asphalt restoration will follow after the forms are pulled. Sincerely, Andy Anderson. So that is his report. Next up is any old business. Anybody have any old business? Or new business?
I'd like to say that I live right smack in the middle of where I'm using this highway project on Clarendon Hills Road, and it's phenomenal. I mean, everyone they contracted with is run so smooth and so quick. I'm just blown away at what a great job that everyone involved has done. We're very appreciative, and I wish I could have told them in person, I'll send them up, but everything's just been phenomenal. So.
Great.
You know, and I want to add, not on that, but on something else, to the question about not being able to hear people. You are investing in rather soon into an intercom system. So do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we are working
Because not
on.
all of us talk like Greg. It's not natural for me to shout when I'm speaking.
Yeah, we
I'm
are.
mask, which presents issues.
We are in the process of getting bids to put a sound system in here. We will have microphones on so that you'll be able to hear us. There'll be 2 sets of speakers, one here at the front, one at the back, so that like when we're talking here, the one in the back will be on, as if the one here is, it would give us feedback. So that sound issue my hope was to have it done by the October meeting. I don't know, we haven't gotten all of the final bids in yet. We had one contractor here today. We have another one that we're waiting on the bid for. So they are kind of, expensive, but we are looking into that. So.
And Carol, I apologize. I did not understand you wanted to review the minutes because you didn't hear the video. So I understand now that because the video wasn't clear, you couldn't review the minutes. You didn't see it. So I apologize about that.
No apology needed.
Okay, with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Great. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, October 21st, here at 7 p.m. And we do have a guest speaker, Sheila from my office, who's going to come talk to us about the GA, General Assistance Program. Thank you.
Thank you.